various lines on the launch pad. We'll hear some loud noises. Let the crew know that's planned. We're also right now draining the liquid oxygen out of the transporter erector, draining the lines, getting ready for launch. Waiting for the startup call at T-minus 1 minute.
So they're keeping the crew informed, giving them updates about, I'm sure these are checklist items that particularly Jared's probably checking off and making sure to hit those milestones. It's always good to hear these things when you're in the spaceship. As you know, things are going well those last few minutes. 17,500 miles an hour. They're going to go from zero, where they are now, standing still, to that speed in 8.5 minutes. It's, you know you're moving. You know you're going somewhere when this happens.
And that G-force that they practiced on the centrifuge,
yeah.
I mean, they're ready. It's like an elephant sitting on your chest when you're about to launch.
About 3 times your body weight, so whatever you weigh, multiply it by 3. I felt like I had 3 big dudes sitting on me. That's what I felt like. For a few minutes.
And it's the final 25 seconds, T-minus 24, 23. Was your heart racing at this point, Mike?
Yeah, it really is surreal. Like, is this really going to happen? But yeah, it's like too late now. They're going to let me go. We just need a little more time. Let's get out of here.
Here we go. They are strapped into that capsule atop a 200-foot tall Spacex rocket, about to blast them into space, past the speed of sound. Here we go.
Pitching downrange.
T+30 seconds. Callouts indicate nominal. The Spark mission flying the Inspiration 4 crew. Onboard Dragon and Falcon 9. Right now with the crew in the capsule. For the period of maximum dynamic pressure.
So what we're seeing here, they just called maximum dynamic pressure. As they get higher in the altitude, the forces build up on the vehicle. It's an important piece to get through, but everything's going really well. What I think is really cool here too is that it's a night launch, so we're going to see quite a show because you're going to see this light up the night sky. When the booster returns, we'll see that as well. So it's night launches, especially for this vehicle, are even more spectacular, I think, than what you see during the day.
I'll tell you, my heart was beating because as soon as you see those, there we go, we got the thumbs up from the crew.
Yeah.
See, you know what's incredible about this? Not only watching the rocket live take off, but being able to see the picture of the floor inside as well. Just that dual image, and you can hear the cheering inside. Okay, so this is a great sign.
This is really good. Yeah, everything's going well. We hear the cheers of the control room. Absolutely. So what's happening is I think we just had staging. So this is part of the show that we're going to get tonight. That when I've seen it, I was at the launch back in April. My friends are up there in space now. Shane Kimbrough, Megan MacArthur, and a couple other, Aki Hoshidi from Japan, pick up from France. Anyway, they went up back in April, and it was a night launch, and we got to see this spectacular sight that we're seeing now.
Followed by stage separation, looking at the second stage engine nozzle, and then ignition of the second stage.
So they're looking for the second stage to ignite here. And we're going to see... Okay, so...
There it goes.
There it goes. And we see that engine ignite, which is a really good sign. So that's staging. So the first stage is done. It's going to come back to Earth and hopefully land on a platform, which is an amazing accomplishment. And we're probably going to be seeing two views here. The one on the left is the vehicle coming back to Earth, landing on a platform in the middle of the ocean. When I saw them demonstrate this return capability of that booster, I became a believer in SpaceX about 12 years ago when they first did it. Because I was like, I don't know if this can really work, but to be able to figure this out, to return the booster back to a not even, it doesn't have to come back to land. They can return it out in the ocean.
Actual target.
To a target in the ocean. It requires very little fuel to do that, so they can use most of the fuel to get to space. Just a little bit is needed to return it because it lands back out in the ocean. But the technology involved is mind-boggling at night in the ocean. So they can reuse it. So the two things that I think are key to this new space age that we're seeing here is the automation that allows almost anybody to go, and the reusability. They're going to get that booster back to be able to use it again.
And our Gio Benitez transportation correspondent there, 4 minutes in since this launch took place. What's the energy like, the feeling where you are, Gio?
Second stage, everything looks to be.
Let me just tell you, it's always an emotional experience watching this, but I want you to see if we can get our other camera here, if we could get that on the air, because I just want you to see what we are seeing here from the ground. We are essentially seeing halos in the sky as that stage one comes back. We'll get that shot in just a moment here. But it's so, oh, there it is right there.
We've got it. Yep, we've got it.
Look at that. You see that? I mean, this is what you see. Mike was talking about what you see on a night launch. This is what you see. Look at that. Look at that. And you know, it's one of these things right there. That is the stage one. That is the rocket, the Falcon 9 rocket that is returning to Earth. That is the rocket that typically would be thrown away, right? Millions and millions of dollars worth would be just thrown away. That is returned to Earth to be used again later. It's going to land on a drone ship in the middle of the ocean. Look here, I got to tell you, this is where I get emotional. I'm thinking about Haley's story, and I'm thinking about Dr. Proctor, and I'm thinking about the children, and what children watching this are thinking, especially little girls, and what they can achieve, and what they could look forward to. They have worked very hard, and they have gone through so much. Haley went through so much, but she worked so hard to learn so much about this. And of course, Dr. Proctor, that geoscience professor, dedicating her life to teaching people the most important job in the world, perhaps, right? And there she is, going and teaching us another lesson right here, and perhaps over the next 3 days, even more lessons. So a very special moment here at the Kennedy Space Center.
You know what? I'm gonna let you breathe on that for a minute, Gio, because Dr. Proctor, we've talked a lot about Haley, the cancer survivor who now works for St. Jude. St. Jude saved her life. Now she was in that launch, and now she is